Hi, everyone. I hope this video finds you well. My name is Horgan, and thank you for having me at your DECA conference this year. Despite the crazy times we're in, I was asked to present on my journey and entrepreneurship as it relates to the DECA program. So I'm happy to do that today. I'll share with you my story, where I come from, and what I'm working on, and also some life lessons that may be helpful for you as you consider your future career in entrepreneurship or even more broadly in business. And so the background first. Again, my name is Rich, and I come from a little town in upstate New York called Montour Falls. I was born with a younger brother whose name is Terry, who has a disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And so for me, entrepreneurship became a tool to which I could try to use to save my younger brother from that disease. The journey didn't start there, though. Like I said, I come from upstate New York, a little town. I studied economics at Cornell and then went on to Harvard Business School to get my MBA. Between those two things, I helped to build a car wash with my family, and really my background stems a lot from entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial endeavors. I grew up in a small convenience store setting that my mother and father owned and helped to work there. And then that evolved to starting a car wash business after undergrad before going to grad school. The entrepreneurial journey is a tough one. It really makes you reflect on yourself and dig deeply to get something done that in most cases has never been done before. And so that challenge is extreme, but for me, it's been extremely rewarding. Having the opportunity after building the car wash to then attend Harvard Business School was where I really came to realize that I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship as a journey and really as a need. And so after finishing up business school in 2018, I started an organization called Cure Rare Disease. Cure Rare Disease is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based out of Boston, Massachusetts. We're quite a unique organization. Our mission is to develop customized therapeutics for patients who have rare diseases that have no treatment. A rare disease, for those of you who may not know, is a disease that impacts less than 200,000 people in the United States at any one time. And so for me, the rare disease that really brought me into this battle and encouraged me to leverage entrepreneurship to try and change the outcome was Duchenne muscular dystrophy. For those of you who may not know what Duchenne muscular dystrophy is, or DMD as it's commonly abbreviated, it's a degenerative disease that saps muscle from patients, and it only impacts boys, and is ultimately a fatal disease for which there's very, very limited treatment options for patients out there. No effective therapeutic for the entire population. And so having a brother that has this disease, I found myself in late 2018, after, soon to be graduating, asking myself, well, what could I do next? I was fortunate to have spent a lot of my time at Harvard meeting with some of the top researchers in the field who were working on this disease. And so as I spent my time at HBS and built up this network, I then, upon graduating, became a Blavatnik Fellow in Life Science Entrepreneurship, which was a great opportunity to really be able to leverage a network I'd created to be able to build something new. Now, drug development is a very long and a very expensive process. It generally takes, on the magnitude, somewhere between 10 years and $2 billion to develop a new drug. At that time, I had neither 10 years nor $2 billion at my disposal. And so using this network that I developed, started out on a new journey to try to develop something for my brother specifically. That later became known as customized therapeutics, and I built a team around it of really the leading researchers, from early stage research to middle stage research, known as preclinical development, to clinical research, which is where we'll end up dosing our patient. Now, just 2 years later, Cure Rare Disease has evolved into an organization that is over 6 employees strong, raises well over $1 million per year now, and is advancing some of the world's most impressive science to date. The technology that we've developed is called CRISPR. For those of you who may not have heard CRISPR is a tool that allows a scientist to edit DNA, removing harmful mutations on an individual's genome. And that's really powerful. CRISPR's been around for just a few years, and so this idea of developing what's called customized medicine, or think tailor-made therapeutics, is relatively new. But we're fortunate to be able to have these tools at our side. But the case wasn't always so. When Cure Disease first started, it was a very new idea and a very unproven idea. We started just in a dorm room at Harvard, more or less. And what started as an idea quickly blossomed into an organization that was taking a risk on new science with the ultimate goal to develop first a treatment for my younger brother who had limited time, and then eventually to roll this out to other patients who have rare disease as well and help to develop something for them. This idea of customized therapeutics, again, is really new. 5 years ago, this wouldn't even have been possible to do from a technical perspective. But given the advancement of really cutting edge science over the last few years, we now have tools at our disposal to allow us to harness the power of developing a customized therapeutic for just one individual. Now, as a proof of concept, one is great, but ultimately our goal is to scale this up to the thousands who are impacted by rare diseases. You may not know this, but over 30 million Americans are impacted by a rare disease, over 7,000 individual rare diseases. And the unfortunate matter of fact is that only 5% of those patients have an effective treatment for their rare disease. And even more sobering is the statistic that about 50% of rare disease patients are children, and of those 50%, about a third won't live to see their fifth birthday. It's really very sad and very sobering news. But we can do something about it now. Traditional drug development has generally been focused on developing one asset for a very large population. We're challenging that model and trying to spin it the other way to say there are diseases for which there's only one patient, or two patients, or 10 patients, or 100 patients. Diseases that have too few patients to really incentivize traditional drug development because it's a very expensive process. But what process we've introduced, all on the basis of an entrepreneurial endeavor, is a new process by which we can develop tailor-made therapeutics for the individual, regardless of how many are impacted by that disease, even if it's one person. We do this through our nonprofit, Cure Disease, as I mentioned. And we're really excited to advance the envelope to new areas and add a new tool to society's toolkit to be able to treat some of the world's most challenging diseases, but with very, very few patients. And so ultimately, this journey has been a challenging one. For me, it's incredibly personal to have this endeavor built around and for my younger brother, and to see it expand to other patients. We now are working on about 10 other patients with rare diseases is really inspiring. To come from just an idea to a fully fledged organization that's advancing really some of the world's most impactful science is a testament to the success of our team, and also a testament to the power of entrepreneurship. And so, regardless of what background you come from, regardless of what you've done in the past or where you want to go in the future, whether it's an entrepreneurial endeavor of starting your own organization or an entrepreneurial endeavor of starting an effort within an established company, entrepreneurship runs the full gambit, the full spectrum of opportunity. I encourage you to think about, what are some of the world's challenging problems, and ultimately, what are you passionate about solving? Things that they won't teach you in school beyond sort of the mechanics of running a business are really the passion and the motivation required to get the job done. Entrepreneurship is sometimes a very lonely journey. And so it's really, really incredibly important to be so passionate about something that you would do anything to change the outcome. And that's how entrepreneurship is to me. It's a feeling that we can do this, that a small group is very powerful and can affect significant change on a global stage. And so ultimately, I encourage you to explore your interests, to explore your passions. The world has many problems, but it's up to us to solve them each and every day. And so I'll leave you with that, and I hope these words may resonate with you, because again, the world needs young leaders like yourselves to make a very, very impactful change. Thank you.